So, welcome everybody. Let's talk a little bit about the news that's going on today. We're going to do things a little different today. So, if any of these guys want to, am I dithering a little bit? He was talking about the other day, and that's interesting. Well, let's take a look at this. I don't know why I'm dithering. Let's take a look. Why am I frozen to you guys? Am I frozen to you guys? So, how about now? You know what? All right, guys. So, Ahsoka is the big topic of the day, and we are going to discuss that in spades. So, let's get into it. I'm not worried about the camera right now. We'll get back to that. It's acting silly. We'll see where we're going from here. So, everybody, make ready and let's talk. So, I don't know what's going on here today. Hold on one second, guys. Give me a minute. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. So, all right. I think we're back. Are we back? We're not back. Let's gotta tell this thing to start my camera again. Okay, we're back. Crisis averted. Took a minute and a half, 2 minutes. We're okay. So, let's talk about Ahsoka, kids. And basically, the big news of the day is that Barris is coming back to the Star Wars universe. So let's find out what's going on and let's talk about it. So the first thing I want to say is cool. I'm in it. If that's what Dave Filoni wants to get into, then I am all about it. Now, the last time we saw Barris and Ahsoka together, this was what? At the right before Ahsoka left, and Barris was confessing and basically telling the Senate that the Jedi had become part of the dark side, that this war has corrupted the Jedi and they can't see anything. Now, granted, Sidious is presiding over that trial, so he's getting all of those goodies and laughing on the inside while Barris is basically telling the story and nobody's listening. She's basically outing the entire Clone War and what happened and why it's happening, and nobody wants to listen. And so they just care about the bombing and getting back to the war. So Barris, the last time we see her, she is arrested by Anakin, and the temple guards are escorting her into the trial where she gives her big speech. And then that's the last time we see her. Now, there is a rumor amongst the mill that says, Dave Filoni actually changed Barris's fate. So they're writing that episode, and originally Barris had a completely different ending. Now, I can get behind that also, but apparently Dave Filoni changed it. Now, Dave basically created most of the awesome storylines that we see, and his foresight is uncanny. The fact that he can see that far ahead, the fact that he thinks that far ahead. I mean, it's a chess game, basically, and he plays it well. He definitely has an amazing foresight. There's no other word I can use. He just thinks so far ahead when it comes to You know, who is going to be where and when in the Star Wars universe? Who is going to be, you know, the next the Dark Force user? There's so many different avenues that he has already mapped out in his head. He's just this awesome mad scientist of a storyteller. So Dave Filoni changes Barris's fate, and Barris was supposed to basically kill herself, with lack of better word, and blow herself up in her jail cell. Now, whether that's by, you know, her having a bomb on her or some kind of dark force ritual that she learned, I don't know, but that's the original idea for Barris's demise. But Dave Filoni changed it, and he said that the reason he cut it out is he has future plans for Barris. So that leads us to today. And today or yesterday, depending on what side of the world and where you're tuning in from. So let's get into the okay. So we got some Star Wars talk show for reals. I didn't know that. Yep. I'm sure glad he didn't have her die. Yeah. Barris was, I mean, you know, I don't know if that was after the Senate floor. I'm imagining so, because she's in custody. But yeah, I mean, she is going to jail, and they were going to have her blow up in the jail cell. Now, maybe that's somebody else planning a bomb. Maybe that's her, you know, handling herself. I don't know. But basically, Dave said no, and I have future plans for her. Now, is this his future plan? Is this what he had in his back pocket all along for Barris? So the Star Wars talk show asked where we learned this. It is on Luminardi. If you go to their website, that's where I gathered it from. You should go check it out. It's a good article. They also scoop a lot of awesome stuff. They're obviously well connected and get the drop on this kind of stuff pretty early. So if you want the link, I will put it. In fact, I will grab it right now and put it in the chat. And that way you guys, and I will put it in the comment section after the stream. So yeah, basically we have those guys obviously have some tie-in to people at Lucas or people at Disney that are telling us all of this information. So it's Illuminati. And no. Illuminati. So they have a Twitter account. It's at the Illuminati, but this is their this is their website. So if you want to go ahead and check it out, I'm going to post this right here. So that's their website. Go check it out. They have a lot of great articles, and obviously they scoop a lot of Star Wars and other content. So let's look up some of the other chats. You know, two Star Wars nerd can't make it, but I wonder if Ahsoka and Barris will reconcile. We're going to get into that in a little bit, two Star Wars nerds. So I don't know if this is the Mr. or the Mrs., but stick around. We're going to get into that. I have a little agenda tonight. I'm not just flying off the seat of my pants tonight. So next, where did I learn this? We got that. So here's two Star Wars nerds. Let's see. Cheers. I'll have to save that tab for later. Yeah, it's actually a really good article. I pulled some art off of it. That's obviously in the Star Wars universe anyway. So yeah, I mean, they scoop some good stuff. So be sure to check it out. Yeah, I think there's going to be, again, here's their website. I think there's going to be a lot going on with these two. If she's going to be in the Ahsoka show, obviously they're going to run into each other. So we talked about the Dave Filoni stuff. Now, there are some people in the Reddit forums. There's some people running around suggesting that maybe Barris is going to be one of the first Inquisitors. Now, she is in jail after her sentencing, and once, you know, the Jedi Order didn't fall too much later. I mean, maybe a year or so. I mean, Ahsoka leaves for X amount of time, and then boom, the war's over when she meets up back with Anakin and Obi. So, the thought process along that line, I don't dislike that theory. But basically, is Barris going to be one of the first Inquisitors? Now, Palpatine has access to the jail where all of the crime committers are, where all the Galactic Senate send their jailed people. Now, the Jedi are held at a separate location. Chat, if you know the name of that location, please feel free to jump in and let me know. But I know the Jedi are kept somewhere separate, and once the Republic is gone and the Empire starts and the Jedi Order is gone, Palpatine has access to everything. So, why wouldn't... Okay, here we got Lord Kit. I'll finish my thought real quick. But why wouldn't he just run on in if he's planning to create this, Jedi hunting team? Why doesn't he run right into the Jedi jail? And so, yeah, why wouldn't he just jump over there and be like, all right, who hates the Jedi? Who wants to go hunt? Who's upset with them? Let's talk. And basically has himself a little starting hunting party. And the other side of that coin is, are these people going to, are these Jedis going to be the first Inquisitors, or is he just going to send them out as bounty hunters and say, bring me Jedi heads? So I don't really know about that, but we'll just have to wait and see. So with that being said, I think that leads us into the other side of that coin. And that is, could Barris become Vader's apprentice, right? One of his first secret apprentices. I mean, Barris and Ahsoka are the same age. It would kind of be the ultimate FU to Ahsoka after he left and walked away. He obviously felt very betrayed by her. So would that be the ultimate, here's, I'm going to take her and teach her the stuff, I wanted you to be with. So, or I wanted you to learn. So yeah, that is another theory going around, is could that be one of Vader's mind tricks, is taking Barris as a secret apprentice as kind of a jab to Ahsoka, cosmically, obviously, because she's in hiding, she's not around, and she's probably never going to find out about that, but it might make him, feel kind of good about all of that. So yeah, so that's, what do you guys think about that? Let's talk. Let's see. I didn't even read what Lord Crit said. The casting stuff at the Illuminati post sounded more like Sabine than Barris, a lead character in her 20s and 30s, and they are looking to cast an Asian woman for the part. Well, that's funny that you say that. I am going to, just looking, if you look at the artwork for Barris, she could potentially be an Asian woman. A large part of her features could be, with the makeup, it doesn't really matter what race or age they cast. It doesn't. Look what they're going to do with Anakin and Kenobi. Look at what they're going to do with, look at what they're doing with Ahsoka in the makeup. It doesn't really matter what ethnicity they're looking for, because anybody could play anybody. So I don't really look at that as and plus it just depends if they're going to use Barris as a flashback, because what? Ahsoka's, when during Mandalorian, Ahsoka's what, in her late 30s, maybe? She was what? 14 when she came on, 3 years of Clone Wars. So she left around 17. So what? She's about 18 when she finishes the Clone Wars, when she fights Maul and goes into hiding. And then she's in hiding for pretty much the entire duration of the Empire, until the really till the very end, till the Empire started cracking. So, it just depends on where what timeline they're looking to pursue. I would think if they were looking to put a Barris in the Mandalorian Ahsoka timeline, and we're going to go forward from that point, I think that it has to be somebody older if they really want to cast it as somebody who's the same age as Ahsoka. So let's try. We'll come back to that. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, one's already locked up. Hee. When you get killed, like the turn back. I mean, Anakin knew Barris, so that would likely annoy Vader. I don't know, because that would kind of be an ultimate, okay, Anakin, I'm taking Barris as an apprentice. I mean, he doesn't really think about Anakin. When you really break down how Vader feels, he despises Anakin. So just another jab into Anakin. Not only did he, turn on everybody and become the thing he swore to not become and to destroy, but I'm going to take somebody you knew and I'm going to turn him, and make him just as bad as me. You never know. Let's see. Let's see what Patrick. As I think about it more, I really think Barris would turn into an Inquisitor or some kind of Sith. I don't really see how she could escape from the prison and the Empire on Coruscant. Yeah, unless, we don't know if the Emperor just opened the gates and said, you know what, that was fun, or he just let certain people out. We don't really know. That's a point of view that I don't really know. So 2 Star Wars nerds, good point. Barris arc, cameo, or flashback. Yeah, it just depends on what they're going to do with Barris. Are Barris and Ahsoka going to have met after Order 66? Right? Like I said, how did she get out? I mean, they're Jedi. The Grand Inquisitor was a Jedi Temple Guard. So if everybody's dying, if Anakin and the 501st are walking through the temple, smashing everybody, why would they stop at the jail? Why wouldn't you? I mean, all of the temple guards join us or die. Simple as that. There. I mean, the fact that the Grand Inquisitor got a choice, I don't think most of them got a choice. I think Anakin just came through after the Jedi and just killed everybody. I don't really think that he was worried about releasing prisoners. I don't think that he was going in there to kill those people because they weren't really Jedi. They were prisoners of the Jedi. So I don't really know. It would be nice to hear Filoni or Lucas or Favreau's opinion on that, just because I've never heard anybody talk about that. So let's see here. But seeing someone from your past at a Jedi temple will remind you of your past as Anakin. True, but he was coming in and out of that temple whenever he went to Coruscant to see Palpatine. Doesn't matter. Palpatine took up residence. Once the Jedi were gone, my temple. Thank you. So he would have been there often, especially if the Emperor called him to talk or train or berate and beat him up, whatever it was for that day. All that stuff didn't happen on Star Destroyers. So at some point he would have had to have gone to Coruscant and had those memories. So Vader is so powerful and is suppressing Anakin in that body that he doesn't think of Anakin as even a worthy opponent at this point. He is so on top of that situation that it's not even a thought. I mean, yeah, Anakin's trying to chew his way through, thinking about Padme, going on these side hunts and all this other stuff on his own, trying to bring Padme back. So yeah, Anakin's trying to break through, but Vader is just squashing all of that stuff. And if he doesn't, the Emperor is. The Emperor is Force lightning. The Emperor is beating him up, or sending him on fool's errands to get beat up. So yeah, I don't think that that's an issue. I think that and he's not allowed to have an apprentice anyway. That's the point. He wouldn't just say, okay, you're my apprentice. Obviously the Emperor has to say okay before they make them Inquisitors. Again, we go back. She could have been one of the first Inquisitors. The third sister is somebody we've never seen. She's one of the Inquisitors that we've never heard or seen in current canon or lore. So could that be Barris? Because when we see Ahsoka during Rebels, could Barris be in one of those suits like Trilla? Or I don't remember the big meaty, help me out, guys. I don't remember the big meaty sister that was hunting Kanan and them on Malachor. But yeah, so she could be in a helmet. She could be in one of those cool Inquisitor suits, hunting Ahsoka after, all of that stuff went down. We don't really know. Could be flashbacks, could be all there's so much speculation. But let's see. Lord Crit, I think Barris would enjoy being an Inquisitor. Yeah, I think she knew that the Jedi were following the wrong path. I don't know if she would have joined them because her beef wasn't really about good or bad. It was about that the Jedi had fallen. Well, I guess it was good or bad. She felt that the Jedi had fallen to the dark side. And that's kind of what Anakin said. From my point of view, the Jedi are wrong. And yes, Obi-Wan tells him he's lost, but that's where they're at. So maybe we're going to see her become one of Vader's first Inquisitors. Maybe he's going to pull the dark side out of her, torture her a little bit. So yeah, I mean, I don't really know, but it's fun to speculate, and it's going to be fun until the show comes out because there are a lot of people looking to find out what's going on. So yeah, and let's go to the next topic. Okay, so here's something I didn't really think about, and I'm sure it's somewhere on Disney's website somewhere. Okay, so and it's the log line for Ahsoka. So the log line is basically the tagline, yeah, for Ahsoka, and it reads as such. Ahsoka Tano is on the hunt for the evil Grand Admiral Thrawn in hope it will help him or help her locate the missing Ezra Bridger, the young Jedi that disappeared with Thrawn many years ago. So that's the basic, that's the basic description of the show. It is obviously, we've all known this since the ending of Rebels, and we've all kind of known what was coming with this show. But there's the official log line from Disney. Now it's out there, and we know. So does anybody think, well, let's see what Patrick says. I don't know. I feel like Barris would enjoy hunting Jedi. She disliked them because they weren't keeping peace. If I remember correctly, so I don't see why she wouldn't still hate them now. I agree. I don't really know. I mean, obviously she's going to hate them for putting her in jail. She's going to hate the Jedi and Anakin. My question is going to be, will Barris feel Anakin, or will she just see Vader? Right? Like, obviously, Anakin's the one that caught her. Anakin's the one that solved the crime and freed Ahsoka. But when he goes to find her, let's say he goes to find her, and she is one of the first Inquisitors. Who's to say that, can she feel Anakin in there? Because he's still screaming to get out. Or is Vader so powerful right now that she just feels the dark side and she just feels how powerful Vader is? So, yeah, and she obviously was good at wielding Assad's double-bladed lightsabers, but is Vader going to have to send her on a quest to find a crystal, or is she just going to pick one out of the pile that's getting destroyed in the fire over there? So we'll just have to wait and see. Official synopsis. Yep. Yeah, that's basically the official synopsis, the log line for the show. X-Week says, what's up, dude? I hope you're enjoying your gaming stream. I'm glad you're listening. When you get done gaming and your fingies get tired, come on over. We're going to try to be on for a little bit longer. I got a couple things that I'm looking to say and things that I want to go over, and then some questions and answers at the end I want you guys to let me know what your opinions are. So, obviously knew it was coming, but didn't know they officially stated it. Yeah, so that's the official log line. It was posted on the internet. Other people have it. I didn't take it from Disney, so Disney, don't shut me down like you did to Star Wars nerds the other day. That was crazy. So, so Barris is the topic of the day. Barris and Ahoska are the topic of the day, but there's some other stuff going on. Now, the Ahoska show is going to be about, obviously, now that we know the official logline, going to be about the hunt for Thrawn and Ezra Bridger. Now, a lot of people are speculating that maybe Thrawn's influence is going to rub off on Ezra, and Ezra is going to be the potential bad guy in this Ezra-Thrawn combination. I like that. Not hating that too much. We already know Ezra's had some issues with the dark side before, when he was playing with the Sith holocron and using its knowledge to help him on his rebel missions. Now, I don't know. I feel like I could get behind it because I think it could be a lot of fun, but I'm not really into it just because I feel like taking Thrawn and that starship on its journey that he took it on with the Purgle, I feel like that was his Jedi trial. And granted, he didn't have his lightsaber when he left, but I feel like that was his trial. And so at this point, when he leaves, whatever battle scars he has from that hyperspace journey, all that aside, Ezra sacrificed himself for the greater good. There is no Kenobi. There is no greater good. There is no greater good. I give my life for you people. That's it. That's it. Or what they think is his life, because he doesn't know what's going to happen. He doesn't know that once they jump into hyperspace, they don't have thick skin like the Purgle that can just fly through ships without hurting them. They're humanoids. They can get hurt. So he doesn't know what's going to happen. He hopes that he sees his friends again. He can't wait to come home, but he doesn't know that he's coming home. This could be a one-punch ticket. We know now that it's not, because obviously we're going to see some Ezra Bridger in the Ahoska show and potentially some Thrawn because she's hunting Thrawn, but we may not get that till the second season. There's no definitive timeline on this. Yes, I mean, she has to be dead at some point. Maybe. For all we know, she could have been alive during the time of Luke when he died in the sequels. We don't know. She's always tried to avoid the main fold after the Clone Wars. She wanted to be behind the scenes. She didn't want to be at the forefront of the wars. So I don't think she would want that even after the Empire. She's on a mission to get Ezra and find Thrawn. That's it. And after that, we'll see where she goes. But I don't know if they kill her off right away. It may be a little while before she shows up. Or before Ezra and Thrawn even show up. They could be on the hunt the whole season and we see them at the end. And that could be it. Teaser, next season. Wait another 2 years. We don't know what her end is going to be because we've never seen it. So speculating that this is going to be a 1 season, a 2 season, a 3 season, we don't know. Nobody knows except for Filoni and Favreau and anybody in the upper echelon of Disney. Okay. Sorry, I went on a little rant there. Get a little crazy. Let's shake it out. Shake it out. Okay. Get it out of me. Okay. Okay. The Star Wars Talk Show. I realized she must be dedicated to Ezra because he saved her and she owes him. Well, and she made a promise. She made a promise. When I get out of here, I'll come find you. She didn't know what his journey was going to be. She didn't know where he was going to be. But she knew she couldn't just go find him as soon as she went through the world between worlds portal on Malachor. Now, that's another whole big thing for me. A whole big thing. Because I think those cards that we talked about in a previous stream gave a couple away. check your mailboxes, the winners of that giveaway. But I think that we might get a little bit of that juiciness. I lost my train of thought. I got so excited. Wait, that doesn't make sense. Ezra should be older at this point. Ezra will be older at this point. The Aladdin actor. Yeah, I mean, we got to remember, we don't know where they are. We don't know what they've been through. We don't know. Every world's got a different, every galaxy might have a different time dilation field. We don't know if they ended up in the unknown regions. We don't really know where they ended up. So there's, again, the age thing doesn't really matter. With makeup and all the CGI they could do flash forwards, they could do flashbacks. It doesn't matter. Get off the age stuff, guys. It does not matter. The age stuff doesn't matter. They're so good with this stuff today. It's so easy for them to put makeup on people, to put them in costume. Don't get caught up with these articles about age. It does not matter. End of story. So we might be getting a one of the two Star Wars nerds to pop in for a few minutes. That'll be fun. It might be a 15 or 30 minutes. We'll see. We'll jump back into the chats. So Lord Crit, let out the Star Wars fan in. Yeah, don't worry about it. Dude, this is one of the only places I can let this Star Wars stuff out of me and get it out. The Muggles don't understand. The regs, they don't understand us, right? You have to be one of us. One of us. You have to be into it to sit here and listen to this stuff day in and day out, to talk about this stuff. So yeah, the regs don't get it, guys. They don't understand. So this is where I let my freak flag fly. This is where the Star Wars nerd truly comes out in me. And this is where you guys also come to get this stuff out. So yes, I don't want to get carried away on tangents. I'm trying to stick to some kind of a timeline and not just fly by the seat of my pants. So let's see. She might think that Thrawn is keeping Ezra somewhere. I agree. Now, I think their fates are going to be intertwined. It seems like Ezra and Thrawn, from the time Thrawn showed up on the spot, it seems like him and Ezra have had this, I don't want to see kindred spirit, but they've been connected in battle. I don't know if you guys, I mean, look at all the great generals. There's always a counter general, So yeah, I think that these two are connected through something in the cosmic universe. Okay, good point. Also, is it canon that when Ahsoka came out of the world between worlds, she met Kanan and Ezra and Maul? She already knew Ezra. No, she came out after. So I don't want to squash anybody's theories. I'm not like that. But the way that it works out is that she came, when she came out of the world between worlds, that was right after her battle with Vader. So Vader goes to slash, she stabs the floor, and Vader goes to slash, a power slash, and Ezra pulls her out as Vader's coming across, and he falls through the floor that Ahsoka just stabs. So Vader ends up falling beneath the temple, or into the temple, as it's crumbling. And we see him walking away with his breathing apparatus wheezing and his face mask damaged, and he's walking away. And then we see Morai on one of the broken temple platforms or pillars, and she flies in, and we see Ahsoka walking into the temple at that moment. So those she jumps right back into her timeline. And there's a couple of videos on my page. If you haven't checked them out, check them out. A lot of my stuff is about Ahsoka. I try not to focus on a lot of other stuff right now. I want people to understand Ahsoka Tano. I'm going to do other stuff. I do other stuff, but Ahsoka is one of my main priorities on this channel until her show debuts and premieres, because not enough people know about Ahsoka. Not enough people appreciate Ahsoka, and I am an Ahsoka fan. Big channel dreams would be getting Ashley here, maybe even getting Rosario here. Obviously, Dave, George, John, the works. And then obviously, one day, the big dogs theory and Josh. So we have people.
What's up?
What's up, Mr. Nerds?
Oh man, I was just thinking like how crazy it would be if you had Ashley and Rosario on a stream, like you and then the two of them, and you're just
That'd be so fun. Be
dude,
so fun.
that'd be so crazy.
Yeah. Big news day, right?
Yeah, just listening to the stream, I had a thought, because there's been a lot of talk about the design choices for the Ahsoka logo, if you will, or the graphics.
Right.
So I'm wondering if we'll see Barris through the world between worlds. Thinking about Ezra basically trying to change Ahsoka's fate. I wonder if we'll see the same thing with Ahsoka trying to do that with Barris.
Maybe I could see that. I don't really see that time. I mean, unless she's pulling her out of jail before Anakin and the 501st are coming in to thrash, right? Because she can't damage the timeline, right?
Yeah.
Like that. She's very aware of that. I don't know why she's so aware of that, but she is very aware of the timeline. And when she goes into the temple, that's why she goes into that temple, because she knows she's not supposed to be there. If she's out there, Vader's hunting her, and that's screwing with the timeline. She was supposed to die in that moment, and she knows she needs to step away until the Empire's gone. At least that's that's it. That's how it lives in my head.
Yeah.
Now, that's the way it ends up. We will be seeing that soon enough. But yeah, man. Tell me what your thoughts are. Third sister. What do you think?
Here's the thing. Like, there's things that I have in my head, but Dave Filoni, for me, he can go one of two ways. He either gives you like what you're thinking, where it's like, he's going to stay true to the character, and we'll see flashbacks. Like he's a very, especially Ahsoka, that's his baby.
Right.
And so I can see him using whatever we see in Ahsoka, I can see him using flashbacks to basically draw this emotion out of Ahsoka that we haven't seen before. Like we've kind of talked about, I don't really like the Martez sisters, but I appreciate the arc and what he wanted to do with Ahsoka.
Right.
And I see the importance of that really post-Jedi arc that he has. So I could see him just keeping Barris as Barris, and we see her live action again. Because we didn't really see her in Attack of the Clones. She's just kind of like, she's live action, but she's just in the background, So that's almost where I'm leaning more towards, is I think she's just going to be the Barris that we know.
Attack of the Clones?
Yeah, she's just in the background.
Or did we see Depo?
We saw both.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure. I'll see if I can pull it up. I think she's just in the background in one of those scenes in Palpatine's office when all
really?
the Jedi were there. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to rewatch. I haven't watched in a while.
I think because Keely, the missus, was like, oh, and pointed it out, and I'm like, oh, dang.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look. But I mean, Attack of the Clone. I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess I could see it because she wasn't in jail till Revenge of the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
Right, she was in jail already there, and Depa had taken a new apprentice in Kanan. By the time of Order 66.
Yeah, I mean, that's when thinking about Dave, I can see that definitely being his approach. But then at the same time, man, I don't know. You bring up some good points with the third sister. I could see him just doing. I mean, he does some wild stuff. He'll just come out of left field, so I can see that as well.
Well, I mean, he's again, like I was saying earlier, he has such vision, right? I mean, almost Palpatine-esque vision, right? He has been plotting for years for this, right? Now, whether he had some script written for this possible Ahsoka show, I don't know, or had a premise on which he wanted to go with and hopefully got it past everybody else. But yeah, I don't. Okay, there it is right there. Oh, yeah, there you go. Didn't even put those connected dots together.
And
So there you
so
go.
I'm thinking about, even with this scene, you have obviously George put her in there, and
Yeah.
we know Dave Filoni. What I always say, the best thing Dave Filoni does is honor George. He does a lot of things
Oh, yeah.
very, very, very well, but he is like George 2.0. He seriously is. And so I could see him like, hey, I'm going to take these background scenes where we don't see very much, and I'm going to build on them. I'm going to deepen the relationship with Ahsoka, which is crazy to think about what he already did in the Clone Wars, and he could take that even deeper.
Well, and
You know?
the fact that the people, I guess, the people don't really know what they want, right? Because like I call the regs, don't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't know who Ahsoka is. They don't know who Barris is because they're not following the Clone Wars, right? You got to be one of us. You got to be one of those people that's into it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're, if you're looking at the whole picture, they introduced Ahsoka and Mandalorian to get people interested. I guarantee there's been more searches of Ahsoka Tano than any other Star Wars search in the last since they released that episode. I guarantee,
Mm-hmm.
because nobody knows who she is. Wait, the regs don't, because she wasn't in the main movies. She was only in Clone Wars. They got to introduce her. And so
Mm-hmm.
putting her in that position, making her look as badass as she was, um, that introduced him. I guarantee there's been more Clone Wars watching and figuring out who she is and all of that goodness um, because they introduced her. See, now here's my thing: if they already have if they already have an actress who played this character, even if it's just for a second, uh, are they going to be looking for somebody that has a similar look? Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this Asian woman of 20 to 30s argument really, it doesn't really hold true, right? Again, with all the CGI, with all the makeup, with all the stuff they can do now, they could hire somebody that's 18 to play that character.
Yeah.
And they may need somebody that's that acrobatic, right? Because her, like Ahsoka, was, that generation of Jedi were rad,
Yeah.
right? They have just their swordsmanship. You're learning from. I mean, look at the class of masters you're learning from: Mace Windu,
Mm-hmm.
Yoda, uh, Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just the top four, right? And Quinlan Voss. The list goes on and on, right? So you're learning from literally probably the best master class of swordsmen, and
Yeah.
Barris and Ahsoka and all these Jedi of that time, right? Because it wasn't Kanan's generation, because they got no training. So, Ezra, Kanan, Caleb, that whole generation of Jedi after Ahsoka and Barris got no real swordsman training. So they're going to need somebody that's acrobatic. They're going to need somebody that can do the Ahsoka cartwheels like they did in the making of the Clone Wars season 7, where they took two people in CG suits, in video game suits, and had them do the fight scenes, not create them in a computer. They had these people act it out and fight and create, and that would be the best way to do this. Would be a live action, no, like, yes, stunt people, but teach these guys how to fight. Make sure you get somebody acrobatic.
Mm-hmm.
Rosario's pretty athletic. Her and Halle
Yeah.
Berry are like my two, like, I think they're two of the most athletic actresses, that you could really put out there. I mean, Scarlett Johansson, but you got to put that character in the right vessel. So,
Yeah, I agree totally, because even when you're saying that, somebody said it in the chat earlier when I was watching. But I mean, and I don't know the specifically Barris's timeline. That's like you know more about that than I do. So if you're just like, man, this is like no good, let me know. But it's like, what if Barris has just been like, what if we just get a really angry, hateful Barris just wanting revenge, and it's just like this like coming at Ahsoka rematch. You just get this crazy acrobatic
Rad.
fight, like because I was even thinking, like if you watch the prequels and all of the acrobatics and the swordsmanship that was in there, it's crazy. You watch it in the OT, it kind of makes sense why it is the way it is. It actually works well. Um, I've talked about my opinion on the sequels, but even the swordsmanship in the sequels kind of makes sense, ish. It's more like baseball bat, but it's like if you could get two of these former Jedi, really former Padawan, former Jedi that come together again, and there's years of hidden aggression and anger, like that would be pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, having them. The thing is, Barris has to last. Let's just call it 20 years to be general, right? You got to last 20 years in the Empire, and you got to do it without a lightsaber, right? Which a Jedi could do. I mean, mind trick, all the fun force powers, push, pull, choke, crush, all that fun shit. So you're not going to have a hard time, especially if you're blurring the lines a little bit and you're really not worried about stealing or killing people or hurting people. You could really use the force to your advantage without needing a lightsaber. She could have been like Asajj and got a black market, especially after the fall of the Jedi. I'm sure there were black market sabers everywhere because some of the troopers probably kept them and sold them for credits. So I'm sure there are lightsabers available at this time when whether she breaks out of jail, whether she gets an assist out of jail by somebody or becomes an Inquisitor. It really, the Inquisitor idea is the most fun for me because that means that she was training with Vader. Right. And maybe even though Anakin is in there, Vader knows that she tried to set up Ahsoka. So like you said, maybe there's that bitterness and that hatred that it didn't succeed or whatever. And he uses that to bring more of her hate and anger out of her and then eventually sets her loose. Who better to go hunt Ahsoka than Barris? And then we see the Barris Ahsoka interaction. Right.
Dude, yeah.
That'd be
so sweet.
I mean, if we're looking at it, like I said, they could time jump 5 years after, a year after, right? I mean, it doesn't really matter where you slice that pie because they made Ahsoka grow up in season 3 to season 4 in like 2 or 3 episodes. She went from little kid to like, older teenager. So maybe she has a growth spurt like a year after, and Barris, and then that's the Rosario, body type, the one we see in Rebels. She hits a growth spurt, and then we see Barris and Ahsoka a year after, and maybe their duel ends in a stalemate, and that's the constant bug chasing them as she's searching for Ezra and Thrawn. There's so many options, right?
Yeah, I had another thought too, and this is why I'm so excited. Even before my thought was funny. You mentioned like people not knowing Ahsoka and they brought him in. How many people aren't going to know
Speaking of
Barris? Oh, yeah. There's actually a friend of ours who he loves Star Wars. He really does. But mainly movies and Mandalorian. We actually got him into Clone Wars and Bad Batch. But I remember on the Ahsoka episode, he's like, dude, like that Jedi is really cool. And he's like, who is that? And he couldn't remember her name. And I'm like, oh, dude, you need to watch the Clone Wars. Like, if you think that episode's cool, like you need to watch it. But I was thinking, remember that feeling when all of a sudden you get at the beginning of Mandalorian
Yeah.
of that episode. Like, what if we had at the very end of an Ahsoka episode, you have this nasty, gnarly, bled lightsaber come on, and we see it's Barris. And then next episode, it goes into this montage of like, just right in like, here's how she escaped. Here's the training with Vader.
Yes. Yes.
Here's just some how brutal she was, and then all of a sudden, we get right back up to this fight. Like, people would be screaming watching
Well,
this. Like,
yeah, I mean that's what I mean. People want those lightsaber battles. They want
mm-hmm,
the Vader Kenobi. They want the Luke Vader, right? They want that. They want, Maul Qui-Gon. They want these epic fight, Rey Kylo. They want these epic fight scenes, right? And we're gonna get it. I mean, they're literally I'm convinced Disney discontinued their lightsabers, the Legacy Galaxy's Edge lightsabers that are Ahsoka's new style, to release something better when the show comes out.
mm,
I'm convinced that their technicians are in the back working on something better
mm.
than what they have out right now, because when that show debuts, those sabers will sell like crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like probably more than any, I mean, to me, probably more than any other saber.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if they market it right. Because Kenobi, he's going to have the same saber, right? We're going to see that same thing. Mandalorian, we're getting the dark saber. That was pretty rad. People don't really know anything about that either, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that was another thing. They're like, what is this dark lightsaber? What is that thing? It's like, dude, go back and watch some Rebels. Get some history, right?
Yep.
Go back and see and read the books, right? Like, I mean, that if you're going to study history, study history.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that Ahsoka's entrance in Mandalorian was perfect because it had so much hype,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a perfect vessel to introduce her into that timeline. And hopefully, we're going to get to see where she was, what she's doing. Yeah, Patrick's right. Could see Barris hating Ahsoka, sharing distrust towards the Jedi. Right? I mean, they could also become buddies. Right? You left the order after sorry, I needed a scapegoat, and there you were, right? But sorry, I knew you. I could manipulate you. You're the only one I knew, right? You don't really know why, but they could be buddies. I left the order. You were in jail. Here's what I'm trying to do. Join my lovable band of misfits. I don't really see that happening, but Dave has been known to do crazier things.
Mm-hmm.
The missus is saying, so many people think the shows aren't important. They're missing out. Yeah. The animated stuff is, again, I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. It's the meat and potatoes of Star Wars.
Yeah.
You get the dessert with the OG. You got some salad and breadsticks with the prequels. And then you got your coffee at the end with the sequels, right? You got a full course meal. For me, the Clone Wars is the meat and potato, and Rebels, the animated stuff minus Resistance stuff's hard to get through. That's the meat and potatoes of Star Wars now. Dave Filoni is the baton carrier for the next generation of Star Wars, and that is his story. If George's story is the OG prequels, then Dave filled the sandwich.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah,
that's how I look at it.
Yeah, I agree, because for me, Dave Filoni's shows make me appreciate the movies a lot more. Like you mentioned, Resistance, a sidestep. I didn't. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the sequels in particular, but Resistance actually made me like the sequels just a little bit more. It gave me more appreciation for the First Order. Like you said, it was hard to get through, and I feel there's actually a thing in EU that I found out recently. We've been doing this thing where we have the 3-volume encyclopedia set.
Yep.
And so we'll just flip open and pinpoint, and if you find some crazy stuff where I'm like, I had no idea this existed. But there's stuff in EU that was basically Resistance. It was like Lando had this this basically like racing ring that he did that was super dangerous, and it reminded me of Resistance. But with that, I'm like, if Dave can take something that I don't like and actually make it a little better for me,
Yeah.
I'm like, talking about his baby, not just Clone Wars, something that George really wanted him to do, and not talking about Rebels where he went even a little deeper on his own, but like Ahsoka is his.
Right.
And
right. Well, I mean,
I'm so excited for that.
And a lot of the Clone Wars is his. I mean, Barris is his. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of these characters are his because he helped design these characters. Ahsoka is his in the fact that that's not a character that George really wanted. I don't think. I don't think a lot of people wanted her in the early days and would have been perfectly fine with her getting reassigned, so to speak. But you know, she turned out to be this amazing character. She turned out to grab the hearts of the Star Wars community because not only was she the apprentice and watched the downfall of the most iconic character, right? I mean, the entire reason Star Wars is Star Wars, right? So I think that being his apprentice gives her clout. Also, I learned how to be a swordsman from the swordsman. He beat up Mace. He beat up Yoda. He beat up Kenobi. He beat up everybody, right? Ended up chopping Dooku's head right off with his own saber, right? Like, I mean, Dooku was a badass, and he literally mopped him up at his peak like he was nothing. Toying with, getting Dooku toying with him at the beginning was the downfall of that fight. If you want to get Anakin, you get him quick because the longer he goes, the more he basically dissects your style.
Yeah.
Right. Like just an amazing swordsman. So, and I agree with the Star Wars talk show. I feel like Ahsoka would put her down if they fought. Ahsoka's at this point, I feel like Ahsoka is gray. Justice is justice. I have to do what I have to do. When I hesitated before, when I was younger, bad things happened. I should have killed Maul. I shouldn't have let him live. I should have done this. I shouldn't have done that, right? Like there's so many steps along the way that she regrets that now I don't think she's going to make those same mistakes.
Yeah. And you're right on because you see that. I haven't read the Ahsoka book, and I know your heart's probably like,
oh,
already.
Dude, you're gonna love it. Honestly, if I had to do it again, I read it in like a day and a half. I couldn't put it down. Wow. Literally, I just picked it up. I'm not a fast reader. I couldn't put it down from sun up to sundown. But the way I'm listening to Plagueis, and again, I haven't had a trip long enough to just sit back and listen to Plagueis more. I mean, it's sitting on the shelf right there. I could pick it up and read it, but I'm lazy. But yeah, I mean, Plagueis is awesome because you hear the lightsaber start up, you hear the guns, you hear all of this interaction, and the narrator doesn't put me to sleep. So yes, I agree with you, Star Wars Talk Show. Take my money. Give me more Ahsoka lightsabers. Give me some headdresses. I will wear one of those headdresses on a stream. I do not care.
Oh man.
Yes, give it to me now. Yeah, the sequels are more like the napkin at the end. Now let's be nice. Everybody's got their opinion on the sequels. Let's not bash any pre-sequels. Let's not start a war. There's been enough war. Can't there be peace? Dave Filoni is a true, yeah. I mean, he really is George's apprentice, if for lack of a better word. If George is a grandmaster, Dave is sitting on the council. Dave and John.
Yeah.
Jon Favreau, even, I think at this point, is also sitting in the council. So Patrick, Patrick was giving us some sequel napkin stuff. Let's take a step further. The bin that you click and the napkin. Oh, you guys. All right. So we have another guest joining us. Everybody knows this guy. What's going on?
My man.
Buongiorno.
Hey, man. It's like a pre-boomer.
I know.
Yeah.
Proomer.
This is perfect.
A proomer.
A proomer.
Yeah, I'm sorry I wasn't on earlier. We were doing a community gaming stream with ABJ and a couple other people doing some Battlefront gaming. So
nice.
But I'm here.
Awesome. Yeah, and ABJ is, I sent him a link also. He's also always welcome to join us. I've never met the man. Only caught him on his stream and others, but He's always welcome to join. So I sent him an invite. We'll see what that goes. But welcome to us talking Ahsoka. Big news day. A lot of people getting on this train. So I figured, well, this is my character. I might as well get on it.
Mm-hmm.
I saw you guys were talking about Barris Offee. Did you see Star Wars Meg put out a video today that might be a mistake, and they're actually casting this. Sorry, let me silence that. That's actually a casting call for Sabine.
Yeah, I mean, either character. I mean, I do think Sabine will probably end up being a little, more. I don't want to sit here and throw, stones as far as racial slurs, but I feel like Sabine's character has to be somebody with like big, bold eyes, right? Like very Japanese anime, right?
Mhm.
Because that's kind of how her character is under the helmet. But they said the same thing about Mandalorian when they were casting for Sasha Banks. Oh, that's going to be Sabine. Oh my God, that's going to be Sabine. It might be, it might not be. I mean, Barris would be an awesome.
I mean
Go ahead. Go.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the call was for a 20 to 30-year-old lady. I think it was an Asian 20 or 30-year-old. But we know Barris is going to be somewhere between her 30s and 40s at this point, right? Or in her 40s.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. I think. Well, I mean, yeah. Ahsoka's 30s and 40s, and like we were saying earlier, between the CG and the makeup, I mean, Rosario, plays a good Ahsoka, and they can make them with the wrinkling and the face and makeup and all the CG. They can make those people however old they want. They don't have to sit here and play the what is this and what is that game anymore. I think that's a big thing now. People forget that. Oh, they're casting an Asian. It's Sabine. Oh, they're casting an Asian woman. It's this character. I just like the meat and potatoes of it being Barris. It gives me a great opportunity to just talk about another female Jedi character. I would love to see a female dark side user. That's why I keep going back to the third sister, because I would love to see another powerful female Sith or a female Inquisitor, right? Like I really enjoy those characters in Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
You see you see all the hunters, half of them are women, right? The entire Malachor scene, 2 out of 3 of those Inquisitors were female. I love that. I want to see that. And if we get to see a little Vader interaction with Barris, maybe Vader walking to her cell after he's got the suit on, being all slow and clunky and getting used to his respirator and all that, and opening her door. And then there she is, sitting there in her cell, and Vader walks in and says, do you want to hunt Jedi?
Oh, that would be cool.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'd be way up for that.
Yes.
What if you saw something like the arc with Dooku and Savage? You know how Dooku basically was like, "You're my slave, and you're going to be raised up for this purpose," and he was torturing him, and like Savage had to figure out how to be strong enough to actually counter Dooku. Like I think if I love Anakin, I really do, but I think we need some like dark Vader content. Like, could you imagine, like, he breaks her out, and it's like, if he's just like, we're gonna hunt down Jedi, and if he's like, you're gonna kill Ahsoka, and basically if he's just using the Force and these different things to almost in a sense like torture Barris and just make you're not escaping me, you will get strong enough to defeat her. Like, I would love to see like really like no redemption Anakin, because we know it's coming. Like, give us like the nasty stuff where we're like, dang, I'm actually really starting to hate him. Like this is pretty gruesome.
Well, I mean, seeing Vader right out of the Emperor's surgery room, out of the medical bay, right to go start claiming fallen Jedi, right? Because who's he going to recruit first? They're not recruiting kids. They're doing that later, right? They're doing that during Rebels. They're not going to go recruit kids. They don't want to deal with kids. The Sith hate dealing with kids, really. You know, they don't want to deal with poopy diapers and all that fun stuff that the nerds are dealing with right now. They don't want to deal with that. They want
Vader
fully grown
changing poopy
people.
diapers.
They're not changing poopy diapers. So yeah, and you know, it's even been said, I don't know, several places that the Sith prefer fallen Jedi or, you know, grown apprentice.
Somebody who's already strong in the Force.
Yeah, that just needs a little bit. Here's a little dark side. Here's a little dash of that, and see how far that goes. You know, and so I could see Vader showing up and grabbing. I mean, because a couple of the Inquisitors are fallen Jedi that he might have picked up in the prison. That's a scene I would love to see.
So this show is pre-Rebels then?
No, well, we don't know. I mean, we're assuming it's after the Empire at the end of Rebels, and in the same time vein as Mandalorian.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Because I was wondering, okay, so how does Vader know if Ahsoka's alive? But obviously, if they've already met in the temple and done everything, that's all taken care of. Okay.
Right. Well, and that's just it. It just depends on where Dave's going to put this. Are we going to is this going to be like Kenobi, where we're anticipating flashbacks with Anakin in clone armor with Kenobi? Or, you know, so is there going to be flashbacks? Is Barris going to be a flashback thing where she comes after Ahsoka and Ahsoka has to kill her, and that's part of her gray journey, right? Like, there's so many veins to be able to dive into. It just depends on where Dave places us in the timeline and what he decides to do with flashbacks and flash forwards, maybe. You know, we don't really know.
Right.
So it's all speculation.
Someone have a cat?
Can you guys hear that?
A little bit, but that's okay.
Freaking cat.
No biggie. I was making sure it wasn't mine because I got one too.
Here, give me one second. I love my cat. Hey, everybody on the internet, I love cats. I'm just going to add another door of separation. When you see the camera turn off, don't call PETA.
Don't worry. We won't.
I'm putting him into a more. He thinks this is his room.
Oh,
and
mine
so
too.
as soon as this door is shut, like he'll sleep all day. As soon as the door is shut, the dude starts freaking out.
I got 3, dude. I get it.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go show him some love.
Sweet, man. See you in a few. Hey, dude.
Oh no, he didn't mute the mic. What's up, Obsession? How you doing, brother?
Good, man. Just had a couple busy days, so I took a little leave of absence, and then saw the news this morning, and had to jump right in. You know, so
yeah, absolutely, it's big stuff, dude. Anything Ahsoka, you got to be on it.
I kind of was. I was like, oh, let me jump in there and start. So I wrote down a bunch of stuff for the people that are here. Do we think that Barris and Ahsoka could become friends?
Oh yeah, I'm not even in the chat here.
You know?
That's such an interesting dynamic there because she was so betrayed.
Yeah.
So betrayed. You know what I mean? For them to even make amends or anything like that, it's a tough prospect.
Well, and exactly. I mean, is she over it? Can she get over it? You know, can Ahsoka, after realizing Vader is actually Anakin and feeling that betrayal that he wasn't dead, and that he's been hunting Jedi and that he was a main cause of this whole thing, after forgiving him, does she forgive him ever is the question. And can she forgive Barris for basically setting her, if you really look at it, Ahsoka,
the reason she's alive.
She could thank Barris.
Yeah.
Right? Like, really, she could be like, the Force works in mysterious ways, and I am thankful that you did what you did, and I'm not mad at you. Got nothing but love for you, because I would be dead at Anakin's saber, potentially, or the Emperor's saber, potentially.
Yep. Anything could have happened there if she'd have stayed. And I think, didn't they touch on that in the Ahsoka book too? Saying, you know, if she hadn't left the Order, she'd be dead with all the others, you know, all the other countless dead Jedi. Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
It's all good. I know. Here's what me and EU Legends canon books. I know generally what happens in the really important ones, but I haven't read most of them. Like, actually read them. So I'm gonna start something where I'm going through all of them, actually, like, physically reading them, because I'm excited to do that. Because especially when people start getting deep in the books, and I'm like, like I kind of know. I'm kind of tracking with what you're saying, but like I want to go full nerd, you know?
I wonder if my missus could get a hold of the publishing companies and what it would cost to do the audiobooks on stream for everybody and do a
Hmm.
group stream. I wonder what they would charge for that.
That's like a 14-hour stream.
That's okay. We could break it up. We can do it. Do it over a week.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder how it works on EBN because they're reading the original Star Wars novelization right now, just chapter by chapter.
Because that would be really fun for me. That would be really fun to grab the Plagueis and the Ahsoka and start doing an audiobook watch party, so to speak. And for me, Bane, stuff that I haven't got into that I can react to and sit here in the corner with you guys and put that audiobook up and let it do its thing and pause it and talk and pause each chapter or something. I'm gonna put the misses on that. In fact, I'm gonna make a note in my
I think that would be really cool, and I mean, granted, obviously, me and Disney have great relations,
Obviously, they think you're a violent cartel, right?
Oh my god!
I'm sorry, that was hilarious.
Yeah,
there's not many things that I've never been a part of any of a shutdown before. I know it's happened. I've heard people talk about, oh, the mouse is going to shut me down. I've never seen the mouse drop his foot.
Yeah, in real time.
In real time, in the chat, in the stream, watching you guys do you. I've never seen it.
And it wasn't like 20,000 subscribers and the mouse put his foot down. It was like
140.
Yeah, like welcome to YouTube, mother effer.
Well, yeah. I think not to go off on this tangent, but I think the reason is because I'm playing around with different copyright things to get around being able to show video because editing pictures is so much work. But anyway, so I have so many copyright claims, no strikes yet, but a stupid amount of claims. And I did one on Project 4K77, A New Hope. And that's the one X-Wing reference where they took it down and they said that they would have given me a strike, but they didn't because I was promoting violent terrorist organizations. And so I think what that did is I think it put me on some...
Are you on a watch list?
I don't know. I think so. So I wonder if it's just heightened. But I would think in terms of copyright, as long as you don't do a single continuous stream of everything, if you break it up and you stop to add commentary, because then it's a fair review and you're not like, even though somehow people get full movies on YouTube, I can't show 30 seconds, but nonetheless, I'm in, man. If you can figure out how to do it, don't put my name on it.
I'm actually going to put some weight into that because I really like that idea because it gives me a place to watch it or listen to it. And yeah, it's a 14-hour thing. We'll break it up every day, a couple hours every day until it's done. And then chit chat about it. I mean, we spend all the time in the Discord anyway, in the VC and everywhere. So yeah, I'm going to look into that because that could be a good way for a lot of people to get it at once.
Yeah.
And like I said, even if I have to fork out for it, that could be a good way. And like I said, I'll put their logo on the screen. I don't care.
Yeah, especially if you start with Bane. I'm such a psychopath for Bane. I freaking love the Bane trilogy. So if we could do some kind of audiobook discussion, whatever, talking about Bane, getting you into Bane, just because he's such a pivotal Sith. Yeah. He's such an important Sith, to how we understand the Star Wars universe now. It's a big thing.
Yeah, and I want to finish Plagueis, so this would give me an opportunity to start Plagueis over, run it through the whole course, give me a reason to play the Ahsoka book for those who haven't seen it, and really dive into her background. I do want to say welcome back to Errol after his wisdom teeth extraction. I hope your mouth is feeling better, friend. So welcome back.
How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, so the missus agrees this could be a good idea. So yeah, I'm going to look into it and see what we can do to make that happen.
Yeah,
if there's a premium that they require. Hey, you're gonna have 10 people in there and maybe 100 views over the course of a month. Give us $35, $50, whatever. Cool, sold. I don't care. I'll pay whatever you want. Let us do this. This would be a cool segment for us to just enjoy and to bring people in and then stop each chapter, chit chat, and go on. So
until it blows up and gets 125,000 views, and then you're out.
Till it blows
your
up.
watch hours will be good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no doubt.
Another thing that would be actually like pretty cool to do with that is there's that 4-hour Revenge of the Sith supercut, if you've heard of that, with like the Clone Wars and Bad Batch and everything. They have a disclaimer at the beginning, and essentially to take part in viewing it, they say you have to have an active Disney Plus subscription. They don't do the verification, but they say the whole purpose is then you actually have access to everything. You're giving the people who own copyright, you're giving them money, and all we're doing is we're rearranging it into one continuous stream. So maybe you could do something like, hey, you need to have this book on Audible or something like that to take part. Because then maybe, in your delegation, with them, you could say like, hey, we're making sure everybody on stream like has a copy already. So then it's just a group listening, because it's no different than inviting your friends over to listen to it. It's just
watching a movie.
We're all just online.
Yeah, well, and having somebody in house that understands the ins and outs of that stuff really makes it easier for me to do what I do. It doesn't matter what the YouTube regulations are, really. I put up several videos. In fact, before I voice over anything, I put every video that I put up on YouTube, I run it through, and some of them take 45 minutes to upload. But at least at the end of the upload, I haven't spent hours editing voiceover and doing all this ADR to realize that I can't upload a YouTube video because of the stuff. So I honestly, when I first cut my cuts, I upload them in a sample to see if there's any checks issues. And then I go back through, I delete that, and then I go back through and I do my VO, because you never know what they're going to say. And I've had videos I've put up go, okay, you need to cut this part out. So I go back and cut that part out, and then they're like, oh no, you need to cut this part out. And it's like, well, you just cut out the whole thing.
Yes. I hate that.
I just take the copyright hit, whatever.
Yeah.
Have you seen my down and dirty? I'm like, screw this. I did a down and dirty. I just watermark whatever I'm talking about right over the clip. And so I just basically change it to like a soft light overlay. And I'm like, I got so tired of like doing editing, even with this is so funny. I'll say this and then I gotta go. With a baby, we do so much Uber Eats, and you guys would be proud. I do not have barbecue being delivered.
No barbecue? Chinese
no barbecue being delivered. Actually healthy food. Food. Yeah. And some Cajun tots. But
nice.
So one of the first videos I did, this is so funny. We you guys remember Biomes, or at least you saw that name when Biomes came out. We were like, I wonder what this is. We watched it, hated it. Like, Keely didn't really care. I was like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. It's a wasted opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm typically a lot more extreme and vocal, where she's more forgiving. And so anyway, I'm like, we have no videos. Nobody's watching. I'm like, hey, let's make a video about biomes. The first, I did a voiceover with footage, and, that was my first experience with stuff getting pulled on the Star Wars channel for copyright. And so anyway, I went back through and I put images and I slow panned, and even that, just how truly boring Biomes is, the slow pan got copyrighted because it looked too similar. So I did all of this work, and I'm like, I recorded this, I just want it out. To date, I'm just keeping it up for the watch hours. To date, it's our most popular video. It's like almost 3,000 views. And it pushed us, because we're like, we need to get out more content, because I do not want my claim to fame to be freaking biomes. Yeah. Thankfully that's in the past. But anyways, guys, we're going to be in the chat. Thanks for sending this over. I'm so excited for Ahsoka. Obsession, I want to talk way more about Ahsoka with you. We have some stuff we'll reach out to you about, because
dude,
you were like, the Ahsoka senpai. You know everything, dude.
Yeah, she's my favorite humanoid character. And then my true all time favorite is that little guy right there.
R2?
That'd be a good boomer council then if we want to do the first one on obsessions, because you've gotten Hangar Bay, Mr. Two Star Wars nerds. We could
Yeah.
do boomer council on obsessions. Do some Ahsoka talk. I think that's perfect.
Yeah,
Cool.
I mean, there's definitely going to be more. Today was kind of an impromptu talk about Barris, find out, what, kind of what everybody thinks and where everybody's at as far as Ahsoka and as far as Barris during this time, because that's where they're giving us the Ahsoka Barris stuff is on the Ahsoka show. The one thing I want to ask you guys, and two Star Wars nerds, feel free to plug away before you fly away.
All right. Do you want me to do it now or do you want to ask?
The floor is yours, sir.
Okay. First, I'm going to plug my awkward facial hair for those in the Discord. The stash is coming back. There's going to be a few months where I look really creepy because it takes some time, but then it's going to be glorious. So you may see a lot of this as I'm waiting for the reveal, just because then one day it's going to come out and not look like, keep me away from your kids.
Yeah.
But anyway, me and the missus, we are two Star Wars nerds. We just make content about Star Wars stuff that we love. Right now we're just going through the prequels, and starting in July, end of June, we're going to start going through the OT, and we're going to start doing some character streams on a Sunday afternoon, trying to stay away from the stuff Obsession is doing so everybody can be there and we can support them, staying away from what X-Wing is doing so we can support that. We want to just talk about what we love.
Yeah. Everybody. That's the great thing about what's going on right now. We were talking about it earlier in the chat. This is, one of the few places we have to geek out and feel comfortable geeking out without glazing people over. So thanks for coming in. I'm glad that you joined us. I always have a good time with you guys. So go take care of the baby and give Keely some relief. And man, have a good time and we'll see you soon.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me. See you, Obsession. See you, X-Wing.
Later, dude.
Hey, buddy.
Oh,
I got to do the same thing. I got to boot scoop. Mrs. X-Wing just got home. I got to feed the beast.
Yeah, dude, do it. Well, it was good seeing you. And what do you have going on this week? You got some stuff going on this week, right?
Yeah. Well, we're still trying to figure out Boomer Council, so we'll get that figured out. And then Thursday at 11 o'clock is the 80 edits pre-stream that I'm trying to get on, just because there's a lot of good people on there. Love talking to them about it, and it's a little more motivating being on somebody else's 11 o'clock stream. It's kind of hard when you're doing it yourself because you're like trying to get the juices going and get it going, but you're kind of tired. So I'm going to be over there. And then Friday I'll be on ABJ's stream for, I think, about 5 o'clock. And then I don't have much else planned. So if you got stuff going on, drag me in. I love talking to you. So
for sure. We're going to, I don't know what's going on this week. I'm planning to cut some videos, trying not to be lazy and actually get stuff done. It's really easy after long days to sit down and get into a show and forget about time. Yep. And all of a sudden, you, especially this time of year on the West Coast, the sun's up and you are like, oh, it's 9 o'clock. The sun is still up. Where did my day go?
Yeah.
So, I'm glitching again. Cool. So that's fun. But yeah, man, thank you for coming by. And
absolutely.
Yeah, man, we're gonna do the damn thing. I guess this is a universe telling me to put a kibosh on it. So I'll save my my chat questions for the Boomer Council, so we can get into some of that. Here, I'm gonna actually come to this side of the screen because it's not acting weird. So this is fun. This is like me talking to me for a second.
I love it.
So cool, man. Thanks for coming by, and I always enjoy hanging out with you guys. You guys are the whole reason that I do this, so thank you. Let those guys know on 80 edits I'm watching, and if they want to let me in, plug away, because I love it. Keep your eye on your mailbox this week. There are some more goodies coming for you. Yes, we'll do another. Maybe we'll do another little tech talk unboxing. I also spent some time testing out cameras for you guys. I love what they just put an awesome GIF in the or picture in your Discord. So
That's
be sure
awesome.
to check that out. But yeah, definitely come check out. I got a tech talk. I went through a couple cameras. I bought a couple cameras, ran them through the ringer, found out which one it works so far and which one doesn't. So that if you guys are looking, I can give you the best advice and not have you purchase something that you won't be able to use for your streams. You, sir, have a couple things coming. The main thing I think you will enjoy the most is one of these funny things.
Is that terrible? I'm most excited for the Puffy.
No,
I'm just really excited for the Puffy, man.
Not at all. I love that you're excited for the Puffy. So yeah, definitely. I'm excited because the Puffy is coming, and I'm looking forward to that. There's a couple other things in there. So yeah, we'll do a little unboxing, do some more tech talk, and give everybody any information we can. But yeah, thanks for coming by. Go feed the missus. I'm going to do the same thing. Otherwise, I will spend another 2 hours here talking about Ahsoka easily. So we'll save the rest of my stuff for Boomer. And everybody have yourselves a great day. Thank you very much. And
what is thy bidding, my master?
Have a great night, and may the force be with you guys.
See you.
Talk to you later. We're going to end this bread with an end. Everybody, stay safe out there. Be kind to one another. And don't cut anybody off in traffic. Road rage is a real thing.